Tonight, interstate infection seeps into Melbourne. A Moonee Valley teenager who visited Sydney hotspots, the focus of frantic checks to ensure other Victorians haven't been put at risk. Little Christmas cheer for Victoria Police. Officers forced to give up festive family gatherings to reinforce the hard border with New South Wales. Winning the battle, just 8 new cases identified in Sydney, raising hopes of a near-normal Christmas. Lives changed forever thanks to the extraordinary act of kindness by a wealthy pharmacist before his death. And Australia's summer of sport in a state of flux. The Aussie cricketers soon arrive in Melbourne, but for how long?
This is 10 News First Melbourne with Jennifer Keyte.
Good evening. First, the Northern Beaches cluster has spread to Melbourne with a 15-year-old girl testing positive to coronavirus. She travelled back from Sydney at the weekend, and authorities are now scrambling to figure out if she's isolated at home since then.
It was the road trip that introduced Sydney's virus outbreak to Melbourne.
This is a really serious position that Victoria is in.
A 15-year-old girl travelled home to Melbourne with her mother on Thursday night. On Sunday, she returned a positive test.
We should take this as a really significant lesson that this is not over.
The girl visited a number of known exposure sites in Sydney, but is showing no obvious signs of having the virus. Her mother has tested negative, and 2 other household contacts are waiting for their results. The family lives in the Moonee Valley Council area, and while the girl told authorities she hasn't left home since she got back, they're now trying to prove that.
I stress at this stage, following a number of interviews, there are no known exposure sites. We're just verifying all of that.
Today marks 53 days since Victoria's last case of community transmission. It now has 1 case acquired interstate and 11 active cases in quarantine. Yesterday, more than 15,000 tests were done.
That's a significant upswing in testing activity, and I'm very grateful to all Victorians.
Authorities have also caught 17 people across the past 2 days who flew into Victoria after being in a Sydney hotspot. Some are Victorians returning home, while others are visitors. All will now spend Christmas and New Year in hotel quarantine. After a year of so much isolation, the timing of the outbreak is devastating, but the rules can't be bent.
We apologise for that, but we don't apologise for keeping Victorians safe.
And Candice Wyatt joins us live now. Candice, there are still lingering questions over the Premier's leadership in the wake of the findings from the hotel quarantine inquiry.
There are indeed, Jen. The Premier was asked yesterday if he will resign over the programme's failures, and he said no, it's simply not in his nature. But some of the families of the 801 Victorians who died in that second wave hold him responsible, and they want the matter taken further, especially after that final report provided very little answers. They're actually calling for Daniel Andrews to be criminally charged and sent to jail. Yet he does still have the support of his cabinet, and ministers today were out singing his praises.
The Premier has led this state through one of the most traumatic years in our history in a way that I am astounded by and extremely proud of.
We have been very ably led through an extraordinarily challenging set of circumstances.
Now, all of this after the former Health Minister, Jenny Mikakos, released a statement last night. This scandal cost her her position, and after the Premier's comments yesterday, she said Victorians do not need another masterclass in political deflection from the Premier. Now, she also has the support of some of her former Cabinet colleagues.
I've known Jenny Mikakos for a very long time. She's a good person. And I just wish her well for her future.
So this issue is not going away, Jen, but Daniel Andrews was not out and about fronting the media today to answer any questions.
OK, thank you, Candice. There have been ugly scenes at the New South Wales-Victoria border, with motorists having to wait up to 5 hours to pass security checkpoints. Less than a month after it was opened, the border is officially closed to all Victorians who don't have a permit. And many police have had to give up their holidays to man the crossing.
Midnight at the border pretty much sums up Victoria's 2020. Cold, wet, lonely and largely off limits. This morning's peak hour was predictably wretched.
I think the people of Wodonga just had enough.
Police are patrolling 19 border checkpoints, drawing on every shred of resources to do so.
From specialist areas to family violence command to road policing to transit to police stations. The academy, so many in the police academy have been deployed. Multiple Melbourne-bound motorists missed the curfew and were turned around. But there is some leniency for Albury residents.
We got a permit to go to Wodonga, so it's Victoria, but now we actually have to get permits to actually go into Melbourne as well. So we just had to download a new permit. That's all it was. Some of the truckies coming through have said they've had to wait up to 5 hours to get through this checkpoint here. The common consensus among the locals is that they want the checkpoint to be moved up further into Wodonga so they do not have to go through it every day on their regular morning commute.
They should have had plans in place. They have done a brief border shutdown on the South Australian border, so they should have had actual practice, and there really should have been a plan in place for how they're going to manage this. I think there's been a great mess of the way they've rolled it out.
The shoe's on Dan's foot now. What are you going to do, Dan? Are you going to recover your borders and provide tourism, provide business and provide the people of your community with that support? And again, I don't know how long this is going to run. The state government says more support is coming, but so is Christmas, and spare a thought for those working through it.
Many of the people that have deployed were actually on holidays who have agreed to come back in and do the function.
Natasha Exelby for 10 News First.
Sydney-siders are battling to save Christmas from COVID-19, and it looks as if the tactics are working. Just 6 days after the Northern Beaches outbreak, there were just 8 new cases today, raising hopes of a normal Christmas.
The testing queues at Macquarie Park this morning, cars hundreds deep. This is the response that may have saved Christmas.
And I feel so proud and deeply grateful.
A record 44,466 people got tested yesterday, uncovering just 8 new cases. That's down from 15 cases yesterday and 30 on Sunday. A positive trend that will factor into tomorrow's decision on Christmas restrictions. So too is mental well-being after a tough year for so many.
You have to assess the medical risk against the risk of other things which will harm the community.
But the blame game over how the outbreak started is still running rampant. Today, former US Ambassador Joe Hockey forced to tweet, "I am not ground zero. I've been in Oz 6 weeks." After allegations surfaced on social media, he was given an exemption from hotel quarantine.
It's really counterproductive to the public health response if we're spending our time blaming.
Of the new cases, 7 are connected to the Northern Beaches cluster. One is a nurse who may have caught the virus transferring a family from the airport to hospital. She's now passed it on to a workmate.
And that will be included in the account for tomorrow.
But there has been a fresh wave of alerts. 9 venues on the Northern Beaches now have isolation orders, as do 5 locations outside of it, including a Paddington deli where a staff member has tested positive, and the BodyFit gym in Blacktown.
We're taking a very low threshold for listing those venues, so please keep alert.
A strategy that means hundreds will spend Christmas in isolation, but may prevent the need for tighter measures for the majority of us.
We assess the risk well and then make decisions according to that. Unlike some of my other state colleagues who have taken what I think are overreaching actions.
A sideswipe as the ACT showed off its new police checkpoints, stopping vehicles from Greater Sydney to ensure they're aware they need to self-isolate.
If they've been in the hotspot, they are required to quarantine.
New rules too for these international flight crew arriving into Sydney this morning, now forced into 2 police-run quarantine hotels after fears they were a weak spot in the system. International flight crews who are Australian citizens won't be forced to stay at one of these isolation hotels, but they will be required to take a rapid saliva test at the airport before self-isolating at home. As we wait and hope for a Christmas miracle. Ursula Hager for 10 News First.
Victoria has a new Attorney General sworn in this morning to take the place of Jill Hennessy. Jacqueline Symes was the Minister for Agriculture and Regional Development. She has a law degree but holds the rare distinction of becoming Attorney General, having never been a solicitor. The member for Macedon, Mary-Ann Thomas, will be promoted into the ministry to take over the regional portfolios.
And now it's a pleasure to congratulate you and present you with your commission. Congratulations. Thank you so much, Governor.
At least 5 members of the Andrews Government Ministry have stood down or been sacked this year. A St Albans man has made history pledging millions of dollars to the Royal Melbourne from beyond the grave. The hospital says the donation will give countless others a second chance at life.
The Royal Melbourne performs more than 100 kidney transplants every year. Pharmacist John Perrott had a life-saving procedure 35 years ago and always wanted to show his gratitude. When he died in September, he came good with a staggering $17.5 million donation.
I'm very grateful. It's been fantastic that such a generous gentleman has given such a gift.
The hospital plans to build a specialist kidney unit in his name.
We're on dialysis, people with kidney transplants, people with kidney disease. Yeah, very beneficial.
David Whiting managed John Perrott's affairs. The plan was always to donate to the Royal Melbourne, but the amount wouldn't be revealed until after his death.
This is a little over 3 times what they thought they might have got from him, so they were far more pleased than they had thought they were going to be.
Mr Perrott also left 2 of his properties to long-term tenants at St Albans.
They both had great relationships with John, and to be able to tell them that he had repaid their friendships 20 times over was great.
Mr Perrott had no immediate family. His success came courtesy of the share market. John Perrott's estate included his St Albans home, which his family owned since 1959. The property recently sold for $300,000 more than its reserve, significantly increasing Mr Perrott's bequest.
John will be absolutely delighted that lots of people will benefit from the gift that he makes to the hospital.
Alexandra Keyte for 10 News First.
The COVID cluster in Sydney has raised doubts about big sporting events scheduled for the city. As a result, Melbourne is shortening in odds to get a bonus test match this summer. Rob Waters joins us live now from the MCG. Rob, Sydney's loss could be Melbourne's gain.
Yes, Jen, it could be, although we'd need the rain to stop falling. It's hardly cricket weather at the moment, but 4 days out, I suppose we do have time. Unlike Cricket Australia and its plans to stage that 3rd test at the SCG. Even with those COVID numbers improving in New South Wales, that's not the issue. The big issue for holding that test in Sydney is the border closure between Queensland and New South Wales. The Queensland government has stated that it won't review that decision until January the 8th. Now, that leaves Cricket Australia with great uncertainty about what happens with the borders, and it really leaves them with little wriggle room to play that test in Sydney, which of course opens the door for the MCG, which is viewed as the most practical way of sorting out this mess, because the players and the coaches and all the staff that attend these games and get them going, they are here and they could stay here, as are all the broadcasters. So it is a practical solution to a real mess, even with Cricket Australia's determination to exhaust all avenues to still stage the SCG test. And certainly the players want to play it at the SCG.
I think everyone's preference here would be to play in Sydney, but we'll obviously be guided by experts, you know, from our medical staff, the governments and everything. So we'll wait and see what happens there.
Time, though, is the problem. Cricket Australia wants to move quickly this week. It's been having major talks all week. They want a decision by the start of the Boxing Day test. So we'll know within a couple of days whether Melbourne does get that bonus test. And wouldn't it be great if it was a day-nighter? So you have the Boxing Day test, and then to spice things up here with back-to-back tests in Melbourne, a day-nighter. We'll see how it plays out later in the week.
Sounds pretty good. Thank you, Rob. And now here's Keyte, and you'll have more on that in sport.
Yes, Jen, we also hear from Steve Smith on his back issues and just how close he came to missing the first test. The A-League thrown into disarray by the COVID chaos. And snake in the grass, the pre-season prank that got hearts racing at the Raiders.
Thanks, Keyte. Coming up in 10 News First, zooming into a cabinet slot, the traditional swearing-in ceremony for ministers goes virtual. The planets collide almost, the great conjunction not seen for centuries. And coming up after 6, lighting up the suburbs with festive cheer, with a little help from a song inspired by the Premier.
We've been the hosts of a popular show
in the African jungle where celebrities go.
But COVID-19 has cut close to the bone, so this year we're staying home.
Celebs won't be needing their passports no more.
Injections for rabies, they can ignore.
The sky they'll sleep under, it will be their own, because this year they're staying home.
You're terrible, Julia.
Kind of famous people from here and abroad have signed on for January 3.
A pop star, renowned chef, an AFL player,
and many more. Just wait and see. It won't be a picnic after we've come a-calling.
There'll be spiders and snakes, and the food is appalling. See, it's still I'm a celebrity like you've always known, and this year we're staying home.
Yes, we'll still have a winner crowned on their throne.
But this year you'll see
On January 3, this year we're staying home.
Do you need support with your mental health or well-being? The challenges of everyday life can be overwhelming, and we all need help sometimes. Team Health are here to listen. Reach out. Call Team Talk on 1-800-TEAM-00.
Have you heard? It's the inside word. Sell your car, your home, advertise a job, or even pop the question to that special someone. All this and more can be heard on the inside word. Only $200 to air your message across 3 stations over 80 times over 8 days. Go to the 10 Darwin website and register your interest today. Be heard with the Inside Word. Proudly brought to you by 10 Darwin.
G'day Darwin, it's Rose McManus here. I'm coming to perform for the first time ever for the top-end comedy spectacular. Me and a whole bunch of amazing comedians.
Whenever you ask someone what tattoos they've got, they always look like, what the?
For those who haven't been to Aldi, it's like a really well-organised garage sale.
Be there. Book now at topendshows.com.au.
Head to the Troppo Pool Shop for complete pool services, pool equipment, cleaners, free water testing, all at their new Yarrawonga home. Open 7 days. It's time to cool off, so visit us now.
At Apex Steel, you come first. Personalised friendly service for major construction, general fabrication, fencing or the home handyman. Apex is here for you. We stock everything you need to get the job done. RHS, pipe, beams, purlins, mesh and lots more. For a great deal on steel, head straight to the top. Apex Steel. New location in Holtz. Bigger and better premises.
Everybody, get on out.
And of course, my wife's been looked after very well. And it's giving me a sense of relief.
And do your stuff. You better get up.
Beautiful manoeuvre. Watch that.
Oh my goodness.
This is just unbelievable.
It's turning into yet another MotoGP battle of survival.
See it first on 10 News First.
The Prime Minister's new ministry has been sworn in COVID style with the very first virtual ceremony. Like any video call, it wasn't without glitches, but the process was still official.
To join the newly appointed ministers for a photo of our times.
Sworn in and screenshot. Ministers taking the sacred oath of office over video call, twice if the audio dropped out.
Would you like to hear that again? I think we're not.
Only a handful of people joined the Prime Minister and Governor-General at Government House for the swearing-in. A traditional ceremony flying in politicians from around the country was deemed too risky with the New South Wales cluster. So, as the road to Canberra tightened, with police now checking 300 cars an hour at border crossings, the cabinet reshuffle was made official virtually in just 18 minutes.
This is very efficient.
Following Simon Birmingham's recent promotion to finance, it's now up to Dan Tehan
as Minister for Trade, Tourism and Investment
to reboot relations with China. Education then assigned to Alan Tudge, rewarded despite a sex scandal with a staffer.
Minister, thank you and congratulations.
Health Minister Greg Hunt's also taking on aged care as Richard Colbeck's demoted to the more junior aged care services role. But the opposition says he should have been dumped following hundreds of coronavirus deaths in nursing homes.
I don't know what you've got to do to lose your job under this government.
There was confirmation today that some MPs and staffers from both sides of politics have been to a possible COVID exposure site, the Commonwealth Parliamentary offices in Sydney, visited by a confirmed case, but so far it hasn't resulted in any positive tests.
Everyone in my office who was there has been tested and been found to be negative.
Chloe Boris for 10 News First.
Earth was treated to a once-in-a-lifetime sight last night when the planets Jupiter and Saturn aligned in the sky. It was an extraordinary treat for stargazers because the last time these two planets met was 1623.
Pulling an Earthside crowd, a sky show worth waiting 400 years for.
There's a lot of people. It's really tough to get parking.
A galaxy event, a Christmas kiss, or a great conjunction as Jupiter and Saturn drifted to 1/10 of a degree apart.
Tonight's is kind of special because you have Jupiter and Saturn appearing to be getting very, very close to one another. In actual fact, they're separated by a distance of about 700 million kilometres.
The alignment of the two bodies made them appear as one bright star.
You can actually see just how close they are.
The rare double planet gaining the interest of millions around the globe.
Binoculars are also good for viewing it.
I've been tracking it the last few nights. I've been getting closer and closer.
The last time they were this close was in 1623. But then the time before that where people could actually see it when it was dark enough was about 800 years ago.
If you missed it...
You watch them over the coming weeks, you'll slowly see the two planets separating away from each other.
You'll have to wait until next time, March 2080.
All right, I'll try to be around for that.
Caroline O'Day for 10 News First.
And ahead in 10 News First, dozens of countries shut out UK visitors because of the new highly infectious COVID strain. And criminal charges announced over the bomb that blew up a Pan Am flight over Scotland 32 years ago.
Hello, parts of the state received a soaking overnight as a conveyor belt of rain from the tropics circulates moist air around Victoria and the Bass Strait. It was a cloudy start in Melbourne, but it didn't take long for the rain to return. The southwest saw the heaviest of falls. You can see the system here on our radar. Nullarbor near Warrnambool saw 71 millimetres fall overnight from 1 p.m. yesterday to 8 o'clock this morning. 40 millimetres fell at Portland, 25 at Warrnambool. The city climbed to 20 degrees today and recorded 13 millimetres of rain overnight. Around the suburbs, the southeast saw 2/3 of the December average rainfall in one night. More broadly, 10 to 30 millimetres fell across the suburbs, a top of 19 degrees recorded at Geelong. And what a difference a year makes. 12 months ago, Malakuta was battling bushfires. Today, it welcomed the rain, 26 millimetres falling overnight. Warrnambool was a chilly top of 14. Ballarat reached 12 degrees. I'll have all your weather details coming up soon.
Jan 3, I'm a Celebrity starts. She's the reality star who's about to face the reality of the Aussie jungle.
Better squeeze in one last manicure before these claws come out.
She's about to get her own dose of reality.
Who's the reality star going into the jungle? Find out Jan 3.
Harvey Norman, home for Christmas. Save $500 on the Samsung 75-inch 4K UHD Smart TV. Now only $1,795. And for the big sound to go with your big TV, get the Samsung T550 soundbar and receive a $300 Harvey Norman gift card. Plus, get it on 60 months interest-free and get a bonus gift card up to $500. That's right, save $500 on this Samsung Smart TV at Harvey Norman, your king-size TV specialists.
Go!
Authorised by the Northern Territory Government, Darwin.
Keep it cool at Joyce Main, your cooling specialist. Get a ripper deal on cooling-only air conditioners perfect for our climate. All the big brands including Fujitsu, Mitsubishi Electric, Panasonic and Rinnai. We also stock a top range of window wall aircons, portable aircons and fans, including Dyson's Pure Cool Purifying Tower Fan. What a beauty! All this and more with Joyce Main's price guarantee. No worries. Plus get 60 months interest-free and get a bonus gift card up to $500. Keep it cool now at your local Joyce Main.
No worries.
Merry Christmas from 10 Darwin, wishing all our viewers a very merry festive season and a safe and happy 2021. Tune in to 10 Darwin, Golden Peach, for the power of entertainment.
G'day Darwin, it's Rove McManus here. I'm coming to perform for the first time ever for the top-end comedy spectacular. Me and a whole bunch of amazing comedians.
Whenever you ask someone what tattoos they've got, they always look like, what the?
For those who haven't been to Aldi, it's like a really well-organised garage sale.
Be there. Book now at topendshows.com.au.
Hey baby girl, it's Mum. I just wanted to call and say how brave you were to study to become a midwife at CDU with 3 young kids. Still sounds crazy, huh? But your strength as a mother meant you just got it done. You really inspire me, and your kids will learn anything is possible in life from their mummy. You make me so proud. Love, Mum.
Every day is pizza day at NT Pizza Co. Fresh, quality ingredients are expertly prepared. Delicious, melt-in-the-mouth pizza and pasta. BYO friends and family, because every day is pizza day at NT Pizza Co.
Hey, I just found a farm where they let you chop down your own tree.
Oh, cool.
It's a big bangin' Christmas week.
Leonard,
Yeah.
there's something on the windshield.
Catch another Christmas episode tonight on 10.
The UK's chief scientific advisor now says the new and more infectious variant of COVID-19 is everywhere and is flagging longer and even tougher restrictions. Dozens of countries have also barred British travellers and cut off trade routes.
Frantic work is underway in Britain to find out more about a new strain of COVID-19. Initial data suggests it's 70% more contagious. And today, UK scientists revealed it's more infectious in children than the original.
The virus is not changing the way it transmits. It's just being more efficient at transmitting with the existing modes of transmission. Instead of inhaling 100 viruses, you might be inhaling 1,000 because I'm producing more virus in that breath.
Although the percentage of people who die from the new strain appears to be the same.
There is no evidence so far that it's more likely to cause severe disease or mortality.
The new strain is putting much of Britain into lockdown.
Everybody feels like they're in a prison.
It's not getting any better. The restrictions in Britain are absolutely stupid.
More than 40 countries have now banned travellers coming from the UK. Some have forbidden freight too, leading to fears that there could be critical shortages of food and medicine here in the UK.
I take freight to Britain and I can't go back home because stupid virus.
But Australia has no plans to follow. It, like the US, doesn't even require travellers to have a negative test before flying, although they must quarantine on arrival.
120 countries require the UK travellers that receive the negative test before they get on the plane in the UK.
But given the new restrictions here, no one is going anywhere right now. Phoebe Bowden for 10 News First, London.
US President-elect Joe Biden has had his first dose of the Pfizer vaccine live on television in a bid to show Americans it's safe. After Biden received the jab, he thanked the scientists and medical workers for their amazing efforts throughout the pandemic and even praised the current administration for their groundwork in getting the vaccine approved. 32 years ago, a Pan-American flight over Lockerbie, Scotland was blown up, killing 270 people. Now, on the anniversary of the terrorist attack, the US has charged a Libyan national with making the bomb.
It remains the deadliest terror attack in UK history. Pan Am Flight 103 exploded 38 minutes after taking off from London, killing all 259 people on board and another 11 on the ground in the small Scottish town of Lockerbie.
It is even worse in daylight than it looked on television at night. Now you can see the full enormity of the damage and the extent of it.
190 of the victims were Americans. 32 years on to the day, the US Attorney General has announced another step towards justice.
The United States has filed criminal charges against the third conspirator, Abu Aguila Masoud Kir al-Marimi.
The former Libyan intelligence officer is accused of building the bomb on the orders of the late Libyan leader Colonel Gaddafi. The breakthrough coming when US officials learned he was being held on separate charges by Libyan authorities and had admitted to his role in the atrocity.
The United States believes we have an extremely compelling case.
Prosecutors will seek the extradition of Masoud to the US. The charges came on Bill Barr's final week as Attorney General, almost 30 years since he himself announced his first indictments in the Lockerbie case.
I have just telephoned some of the families of those murdered. Let there be no mistake. No amount of time or distance will stop the United States and our Scottish partners from pursuing justice in this case.
Adam Gleeson for 10 News First.
2 people smugglers have been convicted of manslaughter in the UK over the deaths of 39 Vietnamese migrants. Their bodies were found trapped inside a sealed lorry trailer in Essex in October last year. They had been driven from France to Britain but suffocated on the way. A volcanic eruption has caused a spectacle in Hawaii. The Kilauea volcano erupted for around an hour, shooting steam and ash kilometres into the sky. It's believed a new lava flow interacted with a pool of water inside the crater, creating the explosive reaction. There's been a Christmas miracle in Thailand with a rescue worker reviving a baby elephant. It was hit by a motorcycle while crossing a rural road with its herd. The man quickly attempted a heart massage on the animal and after about 10 minutes, success. It slowly rose to its feet before locals helped reunite it with its mum. And after the break, we take a look at the new coronavirus strain and what it means for Australia. Plus, the perfect Christmas present for 4 children who've been doing it tough in hospital.
A great singer is heading into the Aussie jungle. Check it out. He sung on the world stage, but now he'll be singing for his supper. Find out who's going into the Aussie jungle. Jan 3.
Charles Darwin University is one of Australia's top 2 universities for graduate employment and salary outcomes. Join their Territories University and let us help you build your new world.
Ladies, what's the first thing you take off when you get home? Your bra. Underwire digs, ouch, and back fat from bra straps is embarrassing. Introducing Ceramere, a bra so supporting and flattering, yet so comfortable you won't even know you're wearing a bra. Look and feel Ceramere good from the front, the back, the sides, even the straps. The secret is Ceramere's double conforming lifting straps. The lace strap is a lifting wrap, just criss and cross, to be cradled in comfort and youthfully lifted. Ceramere comes with adjustable support straps, so you get double the support, double the comfort and double the smoothness, all without underwire. Ceramere gives you 360 degrees of soft, breathable fabric, designed with front and back cooling mesh ventilation, so hot air flows out and fresh air flows in.
I'm literally obsessed with this bra. It is super functional and super comfortable. Feels like I'm wearing nothing. I mean, look at it. Love it.
That's a bra that your body is supposed to fit. This is a bra that fits perfectly to your body. Ceramere fits all shapes and supports all sizes. A bra so supporting and flattering, yet so comfortable you won't even know you're wearing a bra. So no more cutting straps, no more poking underwire, and no more unsightly back fat. Call Global Shop Direct or go online to order Ceramere in your choice of black, white or nude for the low price on your screen. Want even more value? Upgrade your order and save with our Value 3-pack. You'll get 1 black, 1 white and 1 nude bra and save an amazing $70. If Ceramere isn't the most comfortable, soft bra you've ever worn, just send it back within 30 days for a full refund of the product price. Finally, a bra that fits perfectly to your body. Order Ceramere today.
Oh my goodness! I broke my glasses!
Don't stress. Optical Superstore has same-day specs, same-day service and contact lenses.
Wow!
opticalsuperstore.com.au.
G'day Darwin, it's Rose McManus here. I'm coming to perform for the first time ever for the top-end comedy spectacular. Me and a whole bunch of amazing comedians.
Whenever you ask someone what tattoos they've got, they always look like, what the?
For those who haven't been to Aldi, it's like a really well-organised garage sale.
Be there. Book now at topendshows.com.au.
From small renovations to commercial construction, Metro Darwin is your building product supplier for purlins, roofing and walling, flashings and guttering, stud, plate and noggin, factories, houses, renovations. Metro Darwin, 100% Blue Scope Colour Bond. Better service, better building solutions.
Jamie's got Christmas covered.
Useful, simple tips to help you cook some amazing food this Christmas.
Jamie's Easy Meals at Christmas, Wednesday.
Everybody!
And of course, my wife's been looked after very well, and it's giving me a sense of relief.
And do your stuff. You better get up.
Watch that. My goodness. This is just unbelievable. It's turning into yet another MotoGP battle of survival.
See it first on 10 News First.
Good evening, Charlotte Goodlett with a look at finance. This week is meant to be the busiest shopping period of the year, but maybe a lot of us were getting our Christmas gifts early and taking advantage of Black Friday sales because the retail figures for November are out and turnover rose 7%. Victoria saw the biggest increase, up 21% after coming out of lockdown. Now, if you take them out of the equation, the national rise is more modest, but still up 2.7%. South Australia had a flat result after having that short lockdown, and we will have to wait and see how restrictions in New South Wales affect this month's data. In other news, Google has been unable to convince Aussie regulators it should be allowed to buy Fitbit. The ACCC is worried about competition and privacy issues. The tech giant is trying to buy the fitness brand for $2.77 billion. Now, the acquisition's already won approval in Europe, but US and Australian authorities are yet to give it the green light. An ACCC review will wrap up in March next year. Let's see how the markets ended today. It took a bit of a hammering, the energy sector in particular suffering, with crude oil prices tumbling overnight. Materials weighed too, iron ore miners down, despite the steel-making ingredient surging once again, up by more than 7%. As for the currency markets, we're down against the majors this evening, quite a bit against the US dollar, buying about 75.5 US cents.
This is Melbourne's 10 News First. Tonight's headlines. Sydney's outbreak spreads to Melbourne. A 15-year-old girl testing positive after returning from New South Wales. Holidays cancelled for Victoria police officers as the state ramps up its hard border with New South Wales. And former Agriculture Minister Jacqueline Symes sworn in as the state's new Attorney General after the shock resignation of Jill Hennessy. Australia doesn't have plans to stop travellers from the UK from coming here, despite a mutant strain of coronavirus getting out of control. There's no evidence the new variant could be more lethal, so the nation's relying on effective hotel quarantine.
The mutant strain that's effectively cancelled Christmas in the UK has already made it to Australia. Thankfully, it was contained to hotel quarantine. And infectious disease experts here don't believe we need to be overly concerned.
The strain may well transmit more readily, but doesn't seem to be associated with more virulence, in other words, more people dying or more people going into hospital.
And there may be a simple reason for why it's spreading quickly in London and southeast England.
It may be that people are intermingling more and why they're finding more of that strain rather than because there's any major change in the virus.
The World Health Organization agrees it's natural and expected that viruses mutate over time, while it's ruled out a link between the British variant and one that's also emerged in South Africa.
At this stage, we don't have evidence that this virus will change the severity, the diagnostics or the value of vaccines going forward.
So Australia isn't moving to ban travellers from the UK, despite more than 40 other countries doing just that.
Well, I think some of that is potentially an overreaction.
We have a lot of Australian citizens that live in the UK right now are wanting to come back to Australia, and we still are welcoming them.
What we need to do is just redouble our efforts to make sure everyone is aware of the infection control requirements.
More infectious variants of coronavirus reinforce why a strong hotel quarantine system is crucial to protecting Australia. So far, it's managed to stop widespread introduction of COVID-19 into the community.
Could it be better? Yes, it could. We've had leaks from it, as has New Zealand, and we need to improve on that.
Because lives depend on it. Gillian Bowen for 10 News First.
A group of kids who've had a tough time in and out of hospital have been given a very special Christmas gift. They were guests of honour at a fire station and wasted no time getting hands-on.
The looks on their faces said it all. Kids who've had a tougher year than most got a day to just hose off all life's worries. Eddie, 4, Aston, 7 and Aidan, 9. All outpatients from the Children's Hospital turned fearless firefighters.
Deep down in my heart, I'm a very, 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 very kind person and I like helping people.
Like his Blaze battling heroes, Aidan knows a thing or two about bravery. 5 years ago, his life turned upside down. He contracted a rare form of bronchitis, which nearly killed him.
He pretty much crashed in front of us in hospital and they had to put him on ventilation machines and all sort of stuff like that. So it's been a very big journey for him.
These days, though...
perfectly fine.
And free to hang out with his new mates at the station.
You can just be a kid and just, see him when he was, in intensive care to now, you just cherish these moments.
Oh, it's amazing. Like I said, it's very heartwarming. I think a lot of the times we almost get more out of it than the kids.
to be able to show them a special day. It takes no time and no effort out of our day, but I know it means a lot to them, and they'll remember it for years to come.
An early Christmas present for the kids, but for their parents, just having them home will be the real gift this year. Joe Hill for 10 News First.
Very special. Well, Sir Donald Bradman's first baggy green has finally sold after 4 days of negotiations since the auction closed. Australian businessman Peter Friedman purchased the cap for $450,000. Auctioneers had tipped the price to top $1 million, similar to legendary leg spinner Shane Warne's baggy green last year. Bradman's cap was sold off to pay the victims of its owner, who have been jailed for fraud in South Australia. Well, now Keyte's back with sport, and Steve Smith still sore.
Yes, Jen, he's revealed the extent of his back issues ahead of the Boxing Day test. North Melbourne's vow to defy the critics, and in the EPL, Chelsea smoke the Hammers. And 'tis the season. The Steelers receiver left hearing jingle bells after this brutal hit by the Bengals.
Luke McGregor is bringing the Christmas cheer and the comedy tonight, 6:30.
A Brownlow winner is going into the Aussie jungle. But keep it on the down low.
I think we all know who this is going to be.
Yes, we do.
Domino's $5 pizzas are incredible value. 7 awesome recipes, all made with fresh dough, vine-ripened tomato sauce, and stretchier, tastier mozzarella. $5 pizzas, no voucher required. At Domino's.
Look, cleaning the outside of your windows is a real chore. And who wants to climb a dangerous ladder just to get to the second floor? Not anymore. Hi, I'm John Florell, the Fuller Brush Man. And this is Full Crystal from the Fuller Brush Company. The fastest, easiest way to clean all of your windows in minutes, not days. Just add the cleaning crystals, attach it to any garden hose, and away you go. The secret is in the Fuller cleaning crystals that dissolve dust, dirt, pollen, and grime in no time. And here's the best part. You don't have to remove your screens because Full Crystal cleans them too. This screen may look clean, but look how Full Crystal blasts away the dust, pollen, dirt, and grime while it cleans your window at the same time. And that'll save you a ton of time. Look, even with the ladder, you couldn't reach that window. But with the Full Crystal Power Sprayer, you can clean windows up to 27 feet high, leaving your windows spot-free, streak-free, and with both feet securely on the ground. Simply aim, spray, and walk away. For a clean so clear, your windows will virtually disappear.
Call Global Shop Direct or go online now to order the complete Full Crystal system with enough cleaning crystals for up to 20 windows for the low price on your screen. Full Crystal is the fastest, easiest way to clean your windows. You'll never need to lug out the ladder again. But wait, if you order right now, we'll double the cleaning crystals. That's enough for up to 40 windows. We know you'll love how Full Crystal makes cleaning your windows easier than ever. But if for any reason you're not completely satisfied, just send it back within 30 days for a full refund of the product price. Get the cleaning system that will make your windows sparkle like they're brand new, without all the hard back-breaking work. Call or go online now to order Full Crystal today.
Dynamic Catering Solutions, supporting the local community through challenging times with a wide range of hand sanitizers, disinfectant and surface protectors available. Dynamic Catering Solutions can help keep your home and business safe. Force-filled products are simple to use, non-toxic, non-flammable and environmentally friendly. With 45ml hand sanitizers, large spray station and surface cleaners now available in Darwin. Force-filled products can help with the fight against germs, bacteria and mold. Dynamic Catering Solutions. Call or go online for more details and place your order today.
Bolton Camping Fishing is BCF and fun.
Get excited! The BCF Chrissy Countdown is now on. Set up quick with this 4-person instant up tent. Save $200. Easy as.
BCF and fun. Hey!
Good evening. The odds of Melbourne hosting back-to-back test matches continues to shorten as Cricket Australia closely watches the COVID outbreak in Sydney. Rob Waters joins us from the MCG. Rob, they need to make a call soon.
Yes, that's right, Katie, and they will. Cricket Australia plans to get on top of this pretty quickly. They want a decision by the end of the week. They want a revamped schedule if it has to go that way before the Boxing Day test starts. So we will know soon. The problem for the Sydney test is the border closure between Queensland and New South Wales. Even with the COVID situation seemingly on the improve in New South Wales, the border closure, which will stay closed until at least January the 8th, means that there's so much uncertainty about playing in Sydney and then moving on to Queensland. It could throw plans for the fourth test into disarray. So we expect a decision. Hopefully Melbourne gets back-to-back tests by the end of the week. But first things first, into the Boxing Day test. And Steve Smith fronted the media today ahead of them leaving Adelaide and coming to Melbourne, and he revealed that his injury was a real pain in the back. Steve Smith hurt his back for the first time in 6 years just prior to the Adelaide test, and he thought he was in trouble.
Well, initially when I did it, I did have some fears, but I've had a few back issues in the past, and they're generally 2 or 3 day things. Some physio and management got him across the line, but he's still feeling it. If I'm moving around or laying down, I'm good. If I just sit around, for too long, it's not great for it. So, but I'm not worried about it. And he shouldn't be ahead of Boxing Day. The MCG is a happy hunting ground. He scored 400s in 7 matches there. My Boxing Day record's probably, my best in Australia of all the grounds, I think. So, no, I like batting at the MCG. Those sort of big occasions, I like to try and make the most of them. Consecutive tests at the MCG is being strongly considered if COVID kills the Sydney test. If something was to happen and they needed us to play there again, then I'm sure they'd be able to come up with some kind of solution. I think the groundsmen are pretty good these days. And Smith revealed what he said to Virat Kohli, who was headed home to India for the birth of his first child. I just fist pumped him at the end and said, mate, safe travels. Hope everything goes well with the baby, and pass on my best to your wife, I think I said. So that was about it. Rob Waters for 10 News First.
The A-League has been thrown into disarray by the COVID crisis in Sydney. The season will still resume on Sunday, but there's major changes to the draw. 6 teams based in New South Wales, including Wellington Phoenix, are not allowed to leave the state, meaning they'll play each other in the opening rounds.
Yeah, we're used to this, I think, now. We just go with the punches, but yeah, a few changes to obviously the first month. We were supposed to play 7 games in January. Now we're down to 4.
Teams from Melbourne, Adelaide, Perth and Brisbane will play each other over the next 4 weeks. In a time when footy has a tendency to become overcomplicated, the Kangaroos are vowing to keep it simple. Emerging midfielder Jai Simpkin believes the stripped-back approach at Arden Street could pay off quicker than many expect.
While league footy is a serious business, paralysis by analysis will be the enemy at Arden Street next season. The young Roos planning to keep their footy simple in 2021.
As you said, footy does get overcomplicated at times, but one thing that we're massive on is just doing the basics well. And if you do the basics well, 9 times out of 10, you'll come on top.
Legendary Roos coach Dennis Pagan often preaches against the dangers of scrambling the minds of players. 22-year-old Simpkin agrees. He says the Arden Street baby boomers are adopting a no-frills footy approach.
It's just not on-field but off-field as well. Professionalism, doing all the small things like being on time, whether it's getting your ankles taped, completing your gym.
Now, there's nothing fancy about the Young Roos theme or catch cry for the next season or two. This group just wants to do the basics well, again and again.
Just doing the 1%ers, all the little things, just being clean, hitting the easy one, hand and foot. Those things just go a long way.
An inside midfielder with a healthy dose of nasty streak, Simpkin believes the Kangas can become contenders quicker than plenty of footy fans think.
We're not going to just sit in our shells and, like everyone's saying, writing us off. We're going to put some expectations on ourselves and hopefully really drive the next couple of seasons.
New coach David Noble hasn't coached his own team for more than 15 years, but he's already giving the players positive vibes.
He's got the calmest head going around at the minute, so we're all looking forward to getting stuck into it with him.
So a pretty exciting time to be a Root?
Yeah, definitely. Jump on board, members.
Nick Butler for 10 News First.
were certainly feeling festive in Cincinnati as their Bengals stuffed the Steelers like a stocking.
Juju Smith-Schuster is blown up. Von Bell not messing around.
I'm telling you, look, these safeties, these defensive backs, they have come to play tonight.
The lowly Bengals celebrated every turnover as if it were a touchdown in the shock 10-point win. Pittsburgh's frustration was evident as its season continues to splutter ahead of the playoffs. After back-to-back defeats, Chelsea returned to the winners list against West Ham. Tammy Abraham struck twice in the second half.
And Chelsea are over the hills and far away from West Ham United now.
Elsewhere, Burnley moved further away from the drop zone with a scrappy 2-1 upset over Wolves. In any team environment, the last thing you need is a snake in the grass.
It's going really good.
If the first pre-season running session wasn't already scary enough, a plastic python will do it. It's the oldest trick in the book, but for pulling it off, the Canberra Raiders coaching staff can slither away with our play of the day. It worked a treat. Jen, how would you cope with that?
I think that's a shocker. I'd be terrified. Thank you, Katie. Well, Jade's back after the break with all the weather details.
COVID-inspired Christmas displays light up the night. That's next.
Christmas Eve on the living room, Miguel shows you how to cook the perfect roast turkey.
Look at that, absolutely stunning and still steamy.
And Santa stops by with a special delivery.
I do have a gift for you. Oh my God, this is amazing.
Wow. A very merry living room. Christmas Eve on 10.
Get into Air Filter Wash NT and Danny Porter Mechanical for some great deals on filters, batteries and high-tech products. Fleet Wash, 20 litres, $67. Hydraulic oil, 20 litres, $97. Coolant concentrate, available in 1 and 20 litres. Plus we clean pool filters and we exchange and machine flywheels. Air Filter Wash NT and Danny Porter Mechanical. Open Monday to Saturday morning.
Joseph Ribkoff, Sasha Drake, Verge and Frank Lyman. Available at Sarah Lynn Lingerie and Fashion Boutique, Shop 3, Milner Plaza, 348 Bagot Road, Milner.
At Telstra, our 7-day price match on a range of phones. Using Telstra Plus points and trading in selected phones can help make gifting more affordable.
10 Darwin Staffroom Stars. We all know someone who does a great job, be it a dedicated caregiver, a tradie, a volunteer, an apprentice, an admin person, a nurse, or anyone else doing a fantastic job in the top end. Go to 10darwin.com.au today and let's tell Darwin about these shining staffroom stars. Proudly brought to you by 10 Darwin, 1041 Territory FM and Joyce Main, Darwin.
We all know that Frost Financial Planning are retirement experts. Did you know they also provide specialist services to business owners and self-managed super fund trustees? They develop personal plans that bring all the elements together: your business, your self-managed super fund and your retirement plan. If you want to retire on your own terms, now is the time to start planning. To find out more, contact their office or visit the website. Frost Financial Planning, your local experts.
Tired of that wreck in your yard? Help is not far away with PS Car Removals, providing free vehicle removals in Darwin without all the hassle. Recycle and dispose your cars, vans, buses or trucks the right way with PS Car Removals.
Top End Shows presents Hughesy and Friends Comedy Spectacular Entree, Friday, January 15th at the Darwin Convention Centre. Starring and hosted by Dave Hughes. Join Hughesy and some of Australia's best comedians for a night of laughter and fun.
Trying to get a conversation up with my own daughter. I said, "How was your day?" She said, "Terrible." I said, "No, what went wrong?" She said, "My dad picked me up."
Top End comedy chaos you don't want to miss. Get your tickets now at topendshows.com.au.
Gen 3.
Gen 3.
Gen 3.
The Aussie Jungle welcomes the celebs Gen 3.
Time for a check of the weather. Jade, how much rain have we seen today?
Jen, it has been soaking. It's been heavy and consistent all day. And right now, a severe weather warning is in place for heavy rainfall right across Melbourne. You can see just how intense the system is on our Melbourne radar. The southeast saw heavy falls last night. Today, it was the western suburbs. Avalon has seen 10 millimetres since 9 a.m. Right now, it's raining heavily in Dandenong, where 20 millimetres fell overnight, and another 13 today, close to 6 millimetres was recorded at Watsonia. The city reached a top of 20 degrees. Right now it's 16 and winds are blowing in a southerly direction. Top temperatures across the suburb range between 15 and 21 degrees. The coolest was Mount Dandenong. The warmest place to be was Frankston. Geelong hit a high of 19. Widespread showers across the state. Ballarat has recorded 12 millimetres today. It absolutely poured in East Gippsland. Bairnsdale picking up 30 millimetres and a top of 22 degrees. A quick check of how the capital's fared. Brisbane peaked at 33 degrees after a soaking in Sydney overnight. The city reached 27. A soggy day in Hobart, reaching 18 degrees, while our friends in Perth sizzled through 36-degree heat. As we go to air tonight, a large cloud mass near the WA-NT border is associated with a deep low and a monsoon trough. That cloud mass is streaming through central Australia, connecting with the complex low off New South Wales. On the synoptic chart, tomorrow a series of troughs will generate rain and the odd storm across the top end, Central Australia, Queensland, New South Wales, Tasmania, and here in Victoria. As far as rainfall goes, up to 10 millimetres could fall in Melbourne's northeast, 5 millimetres through Gippsland, dry for the rest of the state. Most of the rainfall will be through central NT, up to 50 millimetres falling tomorrow. As for the capital cities tomorrow, 25 at Sydney, another wet day for Hobart and a scorching 39 degrees in Perth. Back home, isolated showers in the south during the morning, dry and sunny across the north. A mild day with moderate south to southwesterly winds. Closer to the city, showers could persist early into the morning. A partly cloudy day for Geelong and Avalon, 21 degrees. A medium chance of showers at the airport with a forecast top of 21. In the southeast, showers will begin to clear, 21 at Frankston. A strong wind warning will be in place for Port Phillip Bay. Winds will be southwesterly up to 30 knots, seas up to 2.5 metres, decreasing in the morning. Now look at the Melbourne forecast. The mercury will dip to 13 tonight before a top of 19 tomorrow. The slight chance of an early morning shower before a cloudy afternoon. But I promise the weather will improve for Christmas Day. The chance of showers lingering on Thursday, 19 degrees. The forecast for Friday, December 25, is partly cloudy and 21. Boxing Day, perfect, 30 degrees.
The developing stories we're following tonight. Checks and tracing underway after a 15-year-old girl from Moonee Valley who'd been at Sydney hotspots tests positive. A gruesome discovery in a Queensland home. We'll cross live for the latest. And these spectacular Christmas displays lighting up suburban streets set to a COVID-inspired track. Sydney's growing coronavirus cluster has made its way across the border into Victoria. A 15-year-old Melbourne girl has tested positive after returning from Sydney. Candice Wyatt joins us live now. Candice, does this leave Victoria at risk of another outbreak?
Well, it certainly ignited a lot of concern, Jen, and for obvious reasons. This is Victoria's 53rd straight day of zero community transmissions. And while that tally remains unbroken, we do now have an interstate case. It is a 15-year-old girl who returned from Sydney on Thursday night with her mother via road. She then tested positive for COVID-19 on Sunday. She has confirmed she visited many of those exposure sites in the northern beaches of Sydney while she was away, but she says that between getting home and getting that test, she did nothing but isolate at home. Our authorities are obviously very hopeful that is true, but they're very definitely doing thorough checks to make sure that is the case.
I stress at this stage, following a number of interviews, there are no known exposure sites. We're just verifying all of that through various data material that's now available to us through our increased digital capacity.
Now, by data material, Martin Foley means that the girl's mobile phone records are now being checked. Her mother has returned her initial test. It was negative. We now wait for her 2 other household contacts to have their test results come back. Jen.
A waiting game. Thank you, Candice. Hundreds of police officers from the academy right up the chain of command will forego their Christmas holidays this year after being deployed at reinstated border checkpoints. It's as anger grows over the impact the closures are having on communities.
Midnight at the border pretty much sums up Victoria's 2020. Cold, wet, lonely and largely off limits. This morning's peak hour was predictably wretched.
I don't know how much more the regions can bear. Their patience has been tested a lot of the time, but when everything seems to be happening in the capital cities and they're being penalised for it, they think, well, you know, we don't have a strong enough voice, so essentially we're the collateral damage.
Police are patrolling 19 border checkpoints, drawing on every shred of resources to do so.
The Crime Command have provided some resources. I know counter-terrorism have provided resources, intelligence and covert support. Command has Professional Standards Command has.
But there is some leniency for Albury residents.
We just had to download a new permit, that's all it was.
Some of the truckies coming through have said they've had to wait up to 5 hours to get through this checkpoint here. The common consensus among the locals is that they want the checkpoint to be moved up further into Wodonga so they do not have to go through it every day on their regular morning commute.
Now, what are you going to do, Dan? Are you going to recover your borders and provide tourism, provide business and provide the people of your community with that support? And again, I don't know how long this is going to run.
The state government says more support is coming, but so is Christmas, and spare a thought for those working through it.
Many of the people that have deployed were actually on holidays who have agreed to come back in and do the function.
Natasha Exelby for 10 News First.
New South Wales Premier has hinted Christmas could go ahead as normal despite the current outbreak of COVID-19. An announcement on the current restrictions will be made tomorrow. Today, just 8 new cases were recorded.
Sydney has answered the call. A record day of testing to beat yesterday's record.
New South Wales is really pulling together to get through this stage of the pandemic.
44,466 people got tested yesterday, uncovering just 8 new cases. That's down from 15 cases yesterday and 30 on Sunday, a trend that will factor into the decision on restrictions for Christmas.
We assess the risk well and then make decisions according to that. Unlike some of my other state colleagues who have taken what I think are overreaching actions.
But as police checks come in for those entering the ACT, a Northern Beaches resident has been busted and fined $1,000 after breaching lockdown to travel to Ulladulla, caught out by local pool staff.
People are selfish if they don't follow the rules. We're all inconvenienced.
Of the new cases, 7 are connected to the Northern Beaches cluster and 1 is a nurse who may have caught the virus transferring a family from the airport to hospital. She's now passed it on to a workmate.
And that will be included in the account for tomorrow.
A low threshold too for these international flight crews arriving this morning. From today, they can only go into 2 police-managed hotels after several were caught out breaching hotel isolation. International flight crews who are Australian citizens won't be forced to stay at one of these isolation hotels, but they will be required to take a rapid saliva test at the airport before self-isolating at home. New rules as we wait to see what comes next. Ursula Hager for 10 News First.
A 24-year-old man has been charged with murder after a man was killed in a violent brawl at Caroline Springs. Police were called to a Hungry Jack's car park about 9 o'clock last night. When they arrived, they found a man, also aged 24, with critical stab wounds. The accused was arrested nearby and faced Melbourne Magistrates Court today. Police are hunting a scammer who used a stolen credit card to swindle $15,000 worth of workwear in Melbourne's north. Security vision has been released of a man collecting goods at a Thomastown business.
This male was involved in at least 10 incidents which occurred in northern suburbs of Melbourne, where he used the same method using stolen credit card details, would make a phone order and attend the stores shortly thereafter and collect the goods.
The man was driving a black Mercedes sedan and was wearing a white hard hat with the name Mick on it. Anyone who recognises him should call police. A man and a woman have been found dead inside their North Queensland home in a tragic discovery just days before Christmas. Police are investigating a possible murder-suicide. Chris Campy joins us now for more. Chris, it's believed a child was home at the time.
Yeah, police located a 5-year-old child a short distance from the home he's understood to reside in. Police say horrifically it was that 5-year-old boy who sounded the alarm by walking a short distance to the home of some family friends. Now, the deceased pair are his parents, though it's understood only the mother lived at that address. A crime scene has remained there in the Townsville suburb of Gulliver for much of the day as that investigation does continue. Detectives are yet to speculate on just how the man and woman, 48 and 46, died, but say domestic violence is certainly an avenue they're investigating. Sadly, it was those family friends notified by the small boy who attended the grisly scene and then notified police.
I just saw a couple of fellas hanging around over there and yeah, they ended up coming over and telling me the place had been broken into out the back and the doors had been knocked down and whatever.
At this stage, detectives say they are not searching for any other suspects and that murder-suicide is certainly a high possibility. The young boy who may have witnessed it all is tonight in the care of family friends.
OK, thank you very much, Chris. The UK government is flagging longer and stricter restrictions to control a more infectious mutant strain of COVID-19. More than 40 countries have now barred British travellers, and hundreds of trucks remain stranded near England's port of Dover tonight after France shut its borders.
I think it is likely that this will grow in numbers of the variant across the country, and I think it's likely, therefore, that measures need to be increased in some places in due course.
Panic buying is adding to the strain in some areas. The number of new COVID cases reported in Britain has jumped by more than 50% in just the past week. A St Albans pharmacist has stunned the Royal Melbourne Hospital with the largest private donation in its history. John Perrott died in September. He bequeathed the bulk of his estate to the hospital, an amount totalling $17.5 million, a generous gift of thanks for life-saving kidney surgery.
Well, John was eternally grateful for the 35 years of extra life that they gave him, and it was his way of paying back.
The hospital plans to build a specialist kidney unit in his name. COVID has changed many things in life this year, and today there was another. The Prime Minister's new ministry sworn in COVID style, with the very first virtual ceremony complete with glitches.
In classic COVID style, today's swearing-in ceremony for Scott Morrison's new ministry was a virtual event. And even when you're taking a sacred oath of office over video call, there are, of course, the usual tech glitches. The screen freezing, audio dropping out.
Would you like to hear that again? I think we're not.
But still, the reshuffled cabinet was rubber-stamped in just 18 minutes.
This is very efficient.
With Simon Birmingham recently promoted to finance, Dan Tehan's now the trade minister, and Alan Tudge assigned education.
Minister, thank you and congratulations.
Health Minister Greg Hunt's also taking on the aged care portfolio as Richard Colbeck's demoted to aged care services. Labor's arguing he should be sacked following hundreds of coronavirus deaths in nursing homes.
I don't know what you've got to do to lose your job under this government.
It wasn't a traditional ceremony with ministers jetting in from all over because of the Sydney cluster. Cars driving into Canberra today were pulled over and spot checked by police. Hundreds from Greater Sydney, the Central Coast and Wollongong directed to quarantine. A number of MPs and staffers were also confirmed to be at a possible COVID exposure site. Sydney's Commonwealth parliamentary officers visited by a confirmed case, but so far all tests have been negative.
It's Chloe. Well, Katie's back now with more sport, and Steve Smith talks through his back issues.
Yes, Jen, he admits it's something he will need to manage in the lead up to the second test. The A-League draw overhauled just days out from the start of the season. And silver service in the EPL as Chelsea roasts the Hammers.
We chat to business owners hit hard by border closures. Plus, we check in with comedian Luke McGregor. That's next.
Have you heard? It's the inside word. Sell your car, your home, advertise a job, or even pop the question to that special someone. All this and more can be heard on the inside word. Only $200 to air your message across 3 stations over 80 times over 8 days. Go to the 10 Darwin website and register your interest today. Be heard with the Inside Word. Proudly brought to you by 10 Darwin.
Oh my goodness! I broke my glasses!
Don't stress. Optical Superstore has same-day specs, same-day service and contact lenses.
Wow!
opticalsuperstore.com.au.
Ella Bache Palmerston, 5 ways to fabulous. Advanced facial treatments, manicures and pedicures with complimentary gel polish. Waxing, IPL permanent hair reduction and treatments. Eyebrow sculpting and eyelash lifting and tinting. Body and massage treatments. Indulgence packages available. Gift vouchers. Ella Bache for skin solutions as individual as you are.
A Sunday drive through the neighbourhood. A spot of rain. A bit of a puddle. The neighbours' pets. We get it, because we're here too. So we help keep you covered for it. And we make sure you get to decide who repairs your car. Because Territorians don't like being told what to do. We get that too. TIO Comprehensive Car Insurance. We're for Territorians.
In the past 10 years, more than 200 loved ones have died on Territory roads because of drink driving.
We've had enough pain and sadness to last a lifetime.
It's time we all said, enough's enough.
Every woman needs comfort and support. Available at Sarah Lynn Lingerie and Fashion Boutique, Shop 3, Milner Plaza, 348 Bagot Road, Milner.
Tired of that wreck in your yard? Help is not far away with PS Car Removals, providing free vehicle removals in Darwin without all the hassle. Recycle and dispose your cars, vans, buses or trucks the right way with PS Car Removals.
A great singer is heading into the Aussie jungle. Check it out. He's sung on the world stage, but now he'll be singing for his supper. Find out who's going into the Aussie jungle. Jan 3.
Steve Smith expects he'll have to manage his sore back in the lead up to the second test, but it's nothing major and he'll be free to bat at the MCG, where he has an astonishing record in Boxing Day tests.
Rest easy, Aussie cricket fans. Steve Smith is. The stiff back he worked through in Adelaide is nothing new and doesn't affect his work in the middle.
Just if I sit down for too long, really. If I'm up and about and moving around, I'm pretty good. If I sit down, so I might be a bit stiff after this press conference. But
the world's top-ranked Test batsman is in a lean patch by his lofty standards. He hasn't made a red ball ton since the Ashes 15 months ago. A trip to the G could prove the perfect remedy. After all, he does average a lazy 113 in Boxing Day tests.
I like batting at the MCG, those sort of big occasions. You know, I like to try and make the most of them. I guess you get the shivers down your spine when you walk out to bat on Boxing Day.
Looking further forward, he thinks the New Year's test in Sydney should stay there for now.
I think everyone's preference here would be to play in Sydney, but we'll obviously be guided by experts. I don't know how it all works, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm sort of just go where I'm told and do what I need to do.
One thing he does have a strong opinion on is the long-term future of Test cricket. Pink ball day-night tests have produced enthralling contests and proven to be ratings bonanzas in recent years, but Smith doesn't want them taking over completely.
Personally, I'd like to keep red ball cricket alive. I think, you know, one per series or something like that's a good amount.
Max Burford for 10 News First.
The Kangaroos are vowing to get back to basics next season. Emerging midfielder Jai Simpkins says the young Kangas are embracing a no-frills mantra.
As you said, footy does get overcomplicated at times, but one thing that we're massive on is just doing the basics well. And if you do the basics well, 9 times out of 10, you'll come on top.
Simpkins says the calm nature of new coach David Noble is already instilling confidence in the players. Sydney's COVID crisis has forced the A-League into making major changes to the fixture. New South Wales-based teams will now remain in the state until February, by which time it's hoped border closures are a thing of the past.
As is the scope in 2020, learn to adapt, change and move on.
We're used to this, I think, now. We just go with the punches.
2020 has been a strange year, and it's not that different for us to have to adapt and get used to a few new changes.
It's not just a few changes though. 5 days out from the season's start, the A-League has been forced to overhaul the draw. 6 teams, including the Wellington Phoenix, all based in New South Wales, must now remain in the state and play each other.
Obviously, we have to catch up them other games, whether it's in February or March or April. It doesn't really matter. There's some stage we'll catch them up.
The first games impacted sees Brisbane versus Phoenix postponed, the Raw now hosting City in Redcliffe. The grand final rematch between the Sky Blues and Melbourne City pushed back at least a month.
The way last season went, we saw there was a big hub and a lot of other teams made sacrifices to come to New South Wales.
Initial fears the competition was over, for now at least salvaged, and the game will go on. The remaining clubs in Victoria, Perth and Adelaide happy to adapt.
Well, it's going to be changing from week to week, and we just have to, deal with what is given to us.
The club is doing everything is possible to stay professional and help the players to maintain the focus, and yeah, so far was really good.
The season opener remains with the Wanderers facing Macarthur FC on Sunday. Trent Simpson for 10 News First.
To hammer home the opening goal.
It's over him. And a really solid thumping header from Thiago Silva. West Ham are behind inside 10 minutes at Stamford Bridge.
Burnley. The NBA season tips off tomorrow, and talk continues that Ben Simmons could be on his way out of Philly. The Aussie point guard has been linked with a trade to Houston, where James Harden is unhappy and refusing to answer the hard questions.
James, now that you've been in camp for about a week, do you feel any better about this situation now than you did before you arrived?
Next question.
New net Kevin Durant will get the season underway against his former team, the Warriors, with the Lakers and Clippers also doing battle. Looking forward to it. Jen, that is all in sport.
OK, thank you, Katie. Jade will be back after the break with the 7-day forecast.
Ho, ho, ho! It's a cracker Christmas Eve on the living room. Miguel shows you just how easy it is to cook the perfect roast turkey.
Look at that. Absolutely stunning and still steaming.
Plus, leftovers are taken to the next level.
Oh, yum! Oh, wow.
And hold on for dear life.
Merry Christmas!
Santa stops by with a special delivery.
I do have a gift for you, and it's out this way.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, this is amazing!
Wow! A very merry living room. Christmas Eve on 10. Oh my goodness! I broke my glasses! Go
Don't stress. Optical Superstore has same-day specs, same-day service and contact lenses.
Wow!
opticalsuperstore.com.au.
10 Darwin Staffroom Stars. We all know someone who does a great job, be it a dedicated caregiver, a tradie, a volunteer, an apprentice, an admin person, a nurse, or anyone else doing a fantastic job in the top end. Go to 10darwin.com.au today and let's tell Darwin about these shining staffroom stars. Proudly brought to you by 10 Darwin, 1041 Territory FM and Joyce Main, Darwin.
10 Darwin, the home of local content, the home of community space, free local event advertising, the home of small business spotlight, free small business advertising, the home of the job lot, free advertising for the unemployed in Darwin, the home of Parents for Pets, for pet adoption advertising, the home of Staffroom Stars, free recognition of amazing staff members, the home of the Inside Word, classified advertising for local people. 10 Darwin, the home of local content.
Has your business gone to the dogs? Is that phone not ringing? No customers coming through the door? It's time to sit up and pay attention. Get your eye on the ball. Advertise your business with 10 Darwin. Put your brand in the forefront of your customers' minds. Email office@10darwin.com.au or call 8927 4410 today and put the bite back into your business.
In the past 10 years, more than 200 loved ones have died on Territory roads because of drink driving.
We've had enough pain and sadness to last a lifetime.
It's time we all said, enough's enough.
Have you heard? It's the inside word. Sell your car, your home, advertise a job, or even pop the question to that special someone. All this and more can be heard on the inside word. Only $200 to air your message across 3 stations over 80 times over 8 days. Go to the 10 Darwin website and register your interest today. Be heard with the Inside Word. Proudly brought to you by 10 Darwin.
Tired of that wreck in your yard? Help is not far away with PS Car Removals, providing free vehicle removals in Darwin without all the hassle. Recycle and dispose your cars, vans, buses or trucks the right way with PS Car Removals.
Every woman needs comfort and support. Available at Sarah Lynn Lingerie and Fashion Boutique, Shop 3, Milner Plaza, 348 Bagot Road, Milner.
Up next, meet the 2 vets in a big truck making a big difference to sick Aussie wildlife. We check in on comedian Luke McGregor as he makes his grand return to the stand-up stage. And it's been a challenging year, but some people are finding hilarious ways to spread Christmas cheer.
Get on the beers.
The project next.
Well, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, but the sounds on the streets may remind you of something or someone else. Talented homeowners in at least 2 suburbs have taken a popular lockdown-inspired song and synchronised it to a spectacular light display. And if you listen carefully, you'll probably find the words of the song all too familiar.
We will simply take this seriously. Get on the beers. That's your civic duty. That's what's most important, and that's what must be.
Online posts of this house and another equally impressive light show in a Sandringham suburb have gone viral, although we do wonder what the neighbours think. Well, now Jade's back with the weather, and it's been more like a winter's day.
Jen, it was wet and southerly winds meant it felt a lot colder than what the recorded temperature was. The rain has been relentless. This is our radar from today. Geelong picked up 22 millimetres early this morning, and since 9 a.m, Mount Dandenong has seen 14 millimetres. It's raining heavily there. Now suburbs in the north and the northeast are seeing the brunt of the storm as we go to air. The city reached a top of 20 degrees, only 4 below the December average. On the satellite image tonight, a large band of cloud is wrapping around a low pressure system off the south coast of New South Wales. And this system is generating rain and storms across Victoria, Tasmania as well as the Tasman Sea. Tomorrow, the low will begin to move offshore and a high pressure system will start to move into the Bight, extending a ridge over Western Victoria, bringing calmer conditions while a weak cold front crosses the Bass Strait. Checking in on our capital cities, are mostly sunny, 33 at Brisbane, 25 at Sydney, another wet day for Hobart, 21 degrees, a scorching 39 in Perth. Back to Victoria now, isolated showers in the south, mainly during the morning, dry and sunny across the north, 25 at Horsham, 27 at Shepparton, 23 at Sale, where there could be a light shower. Having a look at Melbourne tomorrow across the suburbs, we could see some showers in the southeast. At Frankston, 21, Moorabbin, 20 degrees, Mount Dandenong, a cooler 16. The Yarra Glen, 20 degrees, but that chance for shower is very light. And having a look at the Melbourne forecast now, this is what you've all been waiting for. The city will fall to 13 tonight before reaching 19 tomorrow. A cloudy day, a 40% chance of showers, and the week ahead will improve. In fact, we could see some light showers on Thursday, Friday, Christmas Day, 21, partly cloudy, and Boxing Day, 30 degrees, mostly sunny conditions, perfect for the Boxing Day test. Jen?
Sounds great. Thank you, Jade. And that's 10 News First for this Tuesday. I'll have updates through the evening, but for now, from the team, good night.
Tonight, more borders slam shut as new cases from Sydney's COVID cluster appear to drop.
Obviously, the decision would be much easier if it wasn't this time of year.
So will Christmas be saved or cancelled?
Meet the two vets in a big truck making a huge difference to our sick and injured wildlife.
We check in with comedian Luke McGregor as he makes his grand return to the stage.